DJ Cyderbaby for Rock Radio UK, and today I'm speaking to four guys from Detroit Run. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
We're there in the end. We had a few technical issues to start with. I'm not looking at anybody in particular, Tom. But we're here. Hello, how are you?
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're good.
We're not going to mention Nathan's tan. I think that was the sum of the initial pre-Zoom meeting chat was, and how he's on holiday. How dare you, sir?
I know, making everyone jealous. Terrible.
Yeah, jealous.
Oh, shocking. Anyway, Detroit Run, tell me about yourselves, because I know next to nothing.
Yeah, we're obviously we're a band from Liverpool. We, have been going for about 2.5 years now. We've released one EP and quite a collection of songs. Played a lot of gigs, for the past 2.5 years. And obviously we're releasing a new EP, which is coming out on the 30th of May. No, it's not. It's not the 30th of May.
It's not.
It is come on. It's the 30th of May.
Oh God, I've got confused. I thought it was the month after. 30th of May is coming out. And that's where...
Okay, we're all together. We're all on the same page. 30th of May, because that's what I had as well. So Defiant Part 1.
Yeah.
I mentioned the Part 1. That does lead to the question: is this the start of something bigger?
Now we'll just be part 1 forevermore and then nothing else.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Be what could have been.
Always leave them wanting more.
Yeah.
You're going to get letters from fans in years to come. We want part 2.
No. So realistically, there is the concept. There is the plan of like doing a second part, like a second EP, to make one whole album. So Defiance Part 1 and Part 2 will make up the whole of Defiance.
Right.
To figure, like, we wanted to drop an EP. And the concept of like doing it, we had the idea of, we'll do another one. We could like, one could be like one style, one could be another, and then we could just mash it all up together when the whole thing is complete.
Okay. So, tell me about Defiance Part 1 then. 5 tracks. Some we may have heard before, some we haven't, I believe.
Yes.
Okay, so run me through the singles. I think Prototype was the first single, is that right?
Sleepwalker.
Sleepwalker.
There's one.
Yeah. So tell me about Sleepwalker.
Well,
we wrote it in a van on tour.
We did. And it was I would say our first kind of look, if you like, in terms of the band's music, into more of a kind of a pop rock kind of style, fast-paced drums, all that jazz. And it was our first kind of take on it, really, wasn't it? And we loved it. We love writing it. We love getting it out, and it's one of my personal favourites out of our music. But yeah, no, it's a song I think we all really like.
I think we sort of classed it as like that summery sort of vibe.
Summer song. And it was written on basically on a tour bus. Going around the country, which is
call it what it is. It was a van.
Sometimes that's the tour life, though, isn't it?
It's
a tour carriage. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm going.
So you mentioned that it's a slight departure from your earlier saying, your first EP. Is that right?
Yeah. Because we hadn't really written anything in that kind of style until we actually wrote that song, and the whole gist of the whole way of our thinking was, considering the position that we were at the time as well, is that we were in a position where we could experiment and venture off into doing different things to see what worked. So we wanted to try that to see if that particular style maybe is one we could work with going forward even more. And it has worked pretty well. So we are planning on doing a lot more songs like that in the future.
Yeah, I think when we started out with our original EP, it was sort of everything was put out really quickly. We hadn't really honed our craft, I'd say, in terms of what sound we wanted to go with.
No.
So this is sort of what Detroit Run is as a sound. I'd say that's pretty close to what we're aiming to keep with in the future. Hoping that obviously the fans love it as well. So that's the main thing.
I think we also as well we in Defiance Part 1, you will notice elements from each of the songs that are kind of similar. For example, we might have elements in certain songs that might be kind of airing a bit more towards Sleepwalkery, and then there might be some that air a bit more to other songs. And I think we're finding our style, and Sleepwalker I feel was the starting point of us trying to find what we want to do musically.
It's like we've always considered ourselves to have some kind of balancing act between using lighter tones and darker tones.
Right.
And we believe Sleepwalker was one of those first real songs that had that lighter tone, because a lot of the stuff that we did in Room 14, most of it was quite dark. Whereas we could switch it around and make it, like with this one, as Nathan said before, it's got that summery vibe to it. So we can, in the future, we can still maintain that sort of like balance between having the two different styles and like making them work, but making them correlate in some kind of way, just so they're not completely dissonant.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it is a sound that is becoming more prevalent, I suppose, more popular. It's pulling a more poppy, I dare say, poppy sound, but an element to rock music. And expanding on it, and I think it's about bloody time, to be fair.
You're kind of.
I know people call it like alt rock and stuff like that, but it's not. It's just it's the sound that people are, or the younger people, not my age, obviously, are tending to consume more now. I mean, we can't say purchase because of Spotify and iTunes and stuff like that, because music listeners are consumers now. And did this sort of like slow trickle of singles, was that a conscious decision to like drip feed the public into your new sound?
It was. I'd say it was sort of, we wanted to get that music out there. I think we enjoyed writing it that much that we just couldn't wait for people to hear that sound and sort of get on board with what the new sound of Detroit Run is like. And I think it was just more excitement. I mean, we can't hold our own water half the time, honestly. We just want to write stuff, get it out there. So yeah, I'd say it was a little bit more just it was a conscious decision to get it out there, but more just we were excited for everyone to hear it.
Okay.
And I would say as well, because we've wrote a lot of songs, we also have quite a big backlog, I would say, of unfinished and starter songs, and we listen to some of them and we're just like, we wish we could get this out. But obviously, there's so much that goes into a song. I think we want to perfect it to a degree. So, but we always want to just get stuff out. To be honest, as Nathan said, we can't hold our water. We really can't. So,
Okay. So Invincible is the current single, yeah?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Tell me a little bit about that track.
So, I mean, bits of Invincible. I mean, I think this is a recurring theme with us. It was recorded partly in a caravan in Wales when we were on tour, or when we were at a festival. So I think that's more sort of our theme, really. But yeah, this was one that we wrote. I wouldn't say too far back. Would you say, Wes? I don't think it was that far back that we started Invincible.
So in terms of starting it, it was I put together a little kind of skeleton track, if you like, of Invincible, and then once it was sent to the guys, Gary obviously added his guitar, and then the other elements were added, and then it kind of just built up from there. But in terms of the finalizing elements of that song, as Nathan said, it was all done in a caravan in Wales. So, it was a good way to finish that song. But the song itself, it retains the kind of poppy element that you were just talking about before, but it also obviously retains the same kind of alt rock sound that we love. And the whole of the EP is kind of similar. So especially with Invincible as well, it keeps that pop element as well.
Yeah. I mean, for me, Chained Heart is probably my favorite track on the EP. I mean,
Oh.
That's just my choice. I mean, just talk to me about that.
Chained Heart is a funny one. So we've had Chained Heart for a while. Like it's just been sat on a back burner for a while. And obviously putting together this EP, we had a handful of songs we were doing. And we should write another one for it. And we just took time and let's just go back through some of the stuff we've got. And then Chained Heart kind of came up, and majority of us were like, yeah, this one.
Yeah, I think we wrote it quite a while back, and it didn't really strike anything with us.
Right.
It wasn't something that really hit with us initially. But I think sort of that fresh eyes for a while just sort of made us think, you know what, this is right for the EP. This fits, and I think it just sort of reignited that love for that song that we had initially.
We did change some of it though before we, load. We beefed up a lot of the guitars when Gary came and recorded a lot of the guitars, and we beefed them up. We beefed up the drums. It was like we did some changes, and then we listened to it and we were like, you know what, that's a good song. But it's been in a folder for a while. So
a little bit ahead of its time, but not quite ready for the
exactly
version.
Yeah.
So Tom, you're very quiet down there.
Oh, sorry. I was just like letting the guys explain it because they're a lot better at explaining than me.
I'm going to ask you your favorite track on the EP.
My personal favorite is probably Tightrope.
Right. Why?
Tightrope it's got another one of those edges to it where it's quite unique in its own way, but obviously the way we like to connect things together, it will still retain the elements that obviously correlate it to our style. But what I like about it is that it's I'm a big fan of the band Dayseeker, and it gives me real like similar vibes to them. The way it goes, the pacing in it, the tone, everything, and it's one of those songs that's very different to anything we wrote before, in the way that it's structured and the way that it flows. And I just love the overall vibe I get from it, because writing it was quite. I'd say writing it was quite simple, because we just sat in Wes's house and just wrote lyrics, and we had them like pretty much done in that like space of that hour, didn't we?
Yeah.
So it was simple to write and really simple to put together. And on top of that, I think it just sounds great. The music video for it's pretty cool too.
Okay. The only song we haven't spoken about is Prototype, I suppose.
Yeah, that's personal favorite.
Yeah, I love Prototype.
Yeah, it's that song just scratches an itch, if you like something. It does. Proper does. And I think when we wrote that, and which again was a bit of time ago, with them kind of heavy, dark, synthy sounds, we just loved. And the darkness to it, which I really enjoyed. But that song itself, when we released it, I personally felt like it didn't get the recognition that we thought it should have got. Thought let's give it that spotlight now. It might be the right time. Same with kind of Chained Heart, similar scenario.
Yeah.
So I think obviously put is for that, because the song, we love it and we think it's one of our best ones by far.
Okay. Hang on, I'm going to sneeze. No. Oh, that's just one of those things. Sorry about that, guys. Right, so that is pretty much the EP summed up. So that is out on the 30th of May, yes?
It is, yeah.
So I assume there are pre-orders and things like that as well.
Yeah.
Pre-orders are all live now.
Yeah, where can people go and find all these pre-orders and stuff?
So we have got, at the moment, we've got physical versions of our CDs, our EP. Might be skipping a little bit further ahead there, but yeah, we've got them live on our website now. So it's detroitrun.co.uk. We also have a pre-order live for iTunes and Apple Music. So if you just pop onto there, type in Detroit Run, and you'll see it on there. You're able to pre-order that and get that ready when it comes out. So that's what we've got live at the moment. And we have got a link which is on our website as well for a Spotify, which will just sort of register your interest for that on Spotify as well.
Excellent, excellent. So I suppose the only thing we haven't touched on is gigs and things like that. I mean, are you actually actively touring?
So actively touring, no, not touring, but we are actively gigging. So the weekend just gone, we played a festival in Mexborough called Uncharted Festival, which
Right.
is an all-day, which was fun. We have a hometown show in the end of June, with one of our friends' bands, for a release of theirs that we're jumping on for them because it'll be really fun to do because we know the guys, we get on well with them. And in terms of gigs we can speak about, obviously that's what we've got locked in at the minute.
Okay. Okay. So things are cooking, shall we say?
Things are in the
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. Well, I really do like Defiance, part 1. Part 2, you leave me hanging. I urge anybody to go and pre-order, and maybe even just pre-order a CD as well. You know,
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
little bit helps, keeps the wheels turning. And is there anything you'd like to say to anybody who's listening?
Yeah, so regarding the EP, if
Mhm.
people do pre-order or buy the physical version, it is a special edition with a bonus track on it, which isn't on the digital release.
Okay.
Like a bit of DLC on the EP.
Can you tell me any more, or is it top secret?
No, we can tell you.
Yeah. I made that sound so much more mysterious than it actually is.
Yeah, maybe you did.
Oh yeah, you like that was shrouded in ambiguity. Like just, geez.
But no, the song itself has been out for a while, and it's also on Maniac.
Okay.
That
my personal favorite of all time.
That caught on quite quickly on YouTube. You know, it picked up very quickly, and we got quite a big response from it.
The first music video we ever did.
The first video we did, yeah.
I think that resonates well with fans at gigs as well. That's, I think, one of our standout tracks where people will just instantly sing that back to us.
Yeah.
It's a sing-along song.
Got to have a sing-along, haven't you?
You've got to have a sing-along. You've got to. All right.
Yeah.
So you've obviously got a YouTube channel. What's the handle on that? Is it at Detroit Run or?
Yeah, Detroit Run Band.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. Right, guys. Time is moving on. I wish you all the very best for the release of the EP. Go and check it out if you haven't. The singles. I shall start playing the singles in the early morning breakfast show because they are rather good. I have to say. I hope to catch up to you soon. Maybe catch you at a gig sometime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Detroit Run.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, man.
See you.
Bye.